Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Unwoke Thoughts. We got a big show for you today. Big show. Yes, it is Friday. We have lots to talk about. There is some crazy stuff going on, guys. I don't know if you saw the title or the thumbnail, but the former mayor of New York, Bill de Blasio, went absolutely insane. And he posted probably one of the most deranged and bizarre videos I have ever seen. He has totally lost it. And honestly, it may be the final stage of liberalism. I don't know. But if you're wondering, stay tuned and prepare yourselves because it is pretty hard to watch. Yes. And it's kind of sad to see this spiral of a formerly powerful individual, the sad spiral downward of this former mayor. Stay tuned for that. Tenet Media founders were raided by the FBI. Tim Pool has announced that he is cooperating in the investigation. Yes. Tim Pool himself wasn't indicted, but he was named sort of, I guess, in the indictment. It didn't really name names in the indictment, but the people that were talked about in the indictment, while they were kind of kept without a name, they're kind of kept nameless. You could figure them out really easily who they were. But Tim Pool has announced that he is cooperating in the investigation. And the YouTube channels of Lauren Chin, who is the owner of Tenet, and the Tenet Media YouTube channel itself has been taken down. So they're stripping everything from the internet. Lauren Chin, very oddly, though, hasn't really said anything at all. You can go to her Twitter account. Nothing has been said by Lauren Chin. It's pretty interesting. I wonder what's going on. Is she striking some sort of deal with the feds? I don't know. It's kind of weird. Chuck Schumer is now openly saying that it is the Democrats' goal to give citizenship to all illegal aliens in the country. Yes, he actually said this. Yes. Trump announces that he will create a government efficiency task force that will be run by Elon Musk. So that's great news. But MSNBC has an absolute meltdown over this announcement and accuses Elon Musk of using X to manipulate the election. Well, I mean, come on. Finally, we have a social media site, I guess, on our side, right? Not that I think Elon Musk is manipulating the election with X, but come on. All the other social media sites, Facebook, Instagram. What are the other relevant ones? Are there any other relevant social media sites? I can't even think of any. I know we have Gab and stuff like that, but those have been suppressed into oblivion by our tech overlords. But X is really the only thing close we have to free speech and a fair conversation online. It really is. A video of Kamala Harris has resurfaced of her vowing to hold social media platforms responsible for misinformation as part of the fight against threats to our democracy. Yes. This, as you know, is veiled speech. Yes, it is. Misinformation is simply a term they use to disguise their true intention of total power and control over speech and the flow of information. And really, their end goal is to control thought. That's their end goal. But in order to control thought, you must first control speech. You must first control what people read, because what people read and what people talk about affects what they think about. So you just want to completely take these things off the table and say, well, we don't want misinformation floating out there. We don't want hate speech floating out there. But then it kind of begs the question, well, who defines hate speech? Who gets to define what misinformation is? Because there's a lot of stuff. I mean, I think we've seen it a lot specifically in the past couple of years, where we have these social media companies working pretty much in tandem with governments, and they mark things as hate speech. They'll mark things as misinformation. They have fact checkers. And there's really no rhyme or reason to some of the things that they mark as misinformation. Well, actually, there is a rhyme. It all agrees with the leftist narrative. So I guess I have to take that statement back. Joe Biden admits that the Inflation Reduction Act was not about inflation at all. Wow. No way. The FBI seized phones from New York City's police commissioner and at least 4 top deputies to New York Mayor Eric Adams. So I wonder what's going on there. Another AI assistant is giving out information about Kamala Harris, but refusing to say anything about Donald Trump. And, you know, it's probably just another glitch. It's just another glitch. Don't worry about it, guys. Mark Cuban says in an interview that Kamala Harris is saying one thing to the average American, essentially trying to placate them by offering them insane things like price controls, $25,000 housing credits, and taxes on unrealized capital gains, but a completely different thing behind closed doors. Yes, this is coming from Mark Cuban she's saying one thing to one faction of the people who may support her, like the radical faction, but behind closed doors to these elites who are like, what's going on? She's saying a completely different thing. She's two-faced. She's doing doublespeak. I mean, this is no surprise. But it was kind of insane hearing it from Mark Cuban's mouth because, keep in mind, Mark Cuban is a Kamala Harris supporter. And he was not saying these things to criticize her. But he was saying these things as an attempt to garner support for her. So he is basically telling people out there that are worried about some of these radical ideas that she has, these radical policies that she's proposing, relax. She's not really doing this. What? And like, that's supposed to be acceptable? Oh, yeah. Don't worry. She's lying to everybody. Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay, Kamala's got my vote. Pfft, what? So extremely weird. Hunter Biden is expected to plead guilty in his federal tax case. And finally, Republicans are pushing back on attaching the SAVE Act to the upcoming spending bill. When will Republicans ever grow a backbone? Gosh, I just despise, sometimes I just despise our weak, sniveling Republicans in Congress. They're weak and sniveling. But before we get into the show, don't forget to leave a like on this video and also comment down below and let me know what you think of the show. And if you enjoy the show, consider subscribing. But ladies and gentlemen, before we get into it, don't forget to go to mypillow.com and use promo code UNWOKE. Why? Well, because I get you the best deals. That's why. Up to 80% off. Yes, it's crazy, but it's true. Mike Lindell told me that I might put the company out of business because of the discount he's giving my audience. So, guys, buy some stuff. Let's put MyPillow out of business. No, I'm just kidding. Forget I said that. But seriously, though, the cold season is coming up, so it's a great time to get a good deal on some blankets. Yes, I have this one. This is the chain link throw blanket. I keep it on my couch. It's really nice. It's stretchy. It's made of 100% cotton, so it's awesome. Plus, also, guys, I'm drinking coffee from MyPillow right here. Yep, it's coffee. And it's called My Coffee. And it's really some of the best coffee I've tried. It's this stuff right here. Keep it on my desk so I can show you guys. It's high quality, low acidity, organic coffee. And I like the dark roast from Guatemala. But check out MyPillow. They have some great stuff. They don't just have pillows. They have lots of stuff. Shoes, clothes. Guys, I didn't even know how much stuff they had. And make sure you use promo code UNWOKE when you do. But ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? This is quite possibly the most deranged video I have ever seen. This is very sad to see this spiral downward. Bill de Blasio, he's lost it. He posted this video on X. He's spreading sweetened coconut on pizza. And then he eats the pizza crust first. I mean, cover your eyes or the eyes of your small children if they are watching, because this is hard to watch. I might puke. I have a puke bucket right here just in case. Oh, Lord. That's just sad. What do you guys think of this? What do you think is going on with Bill de Blasio? Why would he post something like this? I mean, what is it with, is coconut on pizza a thing? Why would he post something like this? It doesn't make sense to me. He's just such a weird guy. Do you guys remember during COVID, whenever Bill de Blasio did that hamburger thing where he offered, I think it was Shake Shack, where he offered free hamburgers and fries if people got their COVID vaccine? I wonder if I can find that video. But, I mean, he's just a really odd guy. Let's see if I can find this really quick. Bill de Blasio, Shake Shack. It kind of reminds me of that video. Bear with me. I'm not a fast typer, guys. Oh, yeah, here it is. I found it. First one that popped up right here. Check this out. So this was Bill de Blasio offering Shake Shack to New York City people if they got the vaccine.
Free fries when you get vaccinated? I got vaccinated. You're saying I could get this? These delicious fries? Wait a minute. But there's also a burger element to this?
He looks like he's like,
Bill Neathart. Is it too early?
He's mocking.
No. This can be breakfast? Okay. I want you to look at this and think about, again, some people love hamburgers, some don't. Really want to respect all ways of life. But if this is appealing to you, just think of this when you think of vaccination. Vaccination.
Does he not? Okay, guys, does he not sound like he's mocking? So that's kind of what this other video reminds me of, except the other video, see if I can go back to that. The other video was like, I don't know, even more crazy because there was no context attached. And this video right here, look at, he posted this. Let's go directly to his Twitter, guys, because what does this person say? Former New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio sent out some bizarre tweets today, eating pizza and speaking in what appears to be coded language. What? This isn't the first time de Blasio has dabbled in cryptic messages. He once read the book Secret Pizza Party. Okay. Let's go to Bill de Blasio's Twitter. What is going on with old de Blasio here? This is some weird stuff. So if you look right here, 20 hours ago, he posted this. I am hungry. I will eat pizza today. And then he posted, I eat pizza. See? I eat pizza. I am hungry. I will eat pizza today. So, not really sure what's going on with old Mayor Bill de Blasio. But something weird is happening, guys. What do you guys think is going on with this? Is it coded language? Ooh, yes, we got a lot of crazy stuff going on. But moving on to something less disturbing. Tenet Media founders were raided just as the DOJ indictment dropped. Yes, Tenet Media. This is Lauren Chin. This is her husband. And of course, guys, you know that there were some of these prominent YouTubers, prominent political commentators who were contributing to Tenet Media. And the mainstream media and a lot of people, a lot of liberals and leftists and Democrats on Twitter and X are trying to lump all these people into the same bag, basically, saying that people like Tim Pool, people like Benny Johnson, they're like paid Kremlin political commentators. They were pushing a Russian message, Russian propaganda, and all these things, which is essentially probably why this dropped now. This is all part of the FBI and the Justice Department, them trying to, I believe, This is just my belief, guys. You don't have to believe this. I'm saying this for you too, but my belief, they're doing this to influence the election, or attempt as a small part, a small piece of the puzzle in many to influence the election. This is what they do. All these timings of these indictments, everything like this, it's intentional. They do it intentionally. There are no coincidences. But this is the latest context I have, reports I have about what's going on with this. This is the latest update here on this article. Shortly after this report was published, Tenet Media announced privately to its staff that it was ceasing operations effective immediately. The founders of Tenet Media, the right-wing media startup, accused by the U.S. Department of Justice of illegally taking nearly $10 million from Russian state actors. So, yeah, that's supposed to really strike fear in the hearts of Americans. Oh, no. You mean all of these conservative ideas that I've had by listening to these conservative commentators say, okay, from Russia, it was just Russian propaganda? You mean that when I think that the border shouldn't be open, that's Russian propaganda? Oh, no, I was tricked. All of my ideas that I have are Russian propaganda. You mean when I think it's wrong to abort a child at 8 months, that's Russian propaganda? Yes, guys. Do you mean when I think that we should be, using some of these billions upon billions of dollars that we're sending overseas to other countries to fight wars? You mean when I think that we should use that instead to beautify our country and build up our infrastructure? That's Russian propaganda. That's what they want you to think, because that's essentially what all these conservative commentators at a high level, just a basic level, that's what they talk about, okay? That's like some of their main criticisms. But all of that is Russian propaganda. Yeah, that's right. That's right. But apparently they took $10 million from Russian state actors to launder Russian influence and were raided on Wednesday as the indictment was unsealed. The sources, who are not authorized to publicly speak on record, said the authorities confiscated the electronic devices belonging to Tenet Media owners Lauren Chin, also known as Lauren Yu Sum Tam. I didn't know that was her full name. And her husband, Liam Donovan, around the time the Biden-Harris administration announced the indictment on Wednesday. This is a quote from one of the unnamed sources. I don't think the owners had any idea about the investigation. The raid just came out of nowhere. So the sources says a couple who are Canadian nationals living in Tennessee had recently returned from a trip abroad. So this, Liam Donovan, Lauren Chin. Now, I've listened to some of their stuff. Well, Lauren Chin, she's been on Tim Pool. She's been on some other podcasts that I've listened to. I've never really, I don't think I was even subscribed to her YouTube. I think I was subscribed to Tenet Media. There was one guy on Tenet. He was that red-haired guy with the beard. What was his name? Taylor Hanson, I believe, maybe. He had some good stuff. He had like some man on the street stuff where he would go to these protests. He went to that San Francisco Pride Parade where, he showed some pretty shocking stuff at that Pride Parade. It was pretty incredible. Him, I like. But I don't know what his connection was with it. I haven't looked at his Twitter. I don't know if he even has one other than Tenet. But he was good. He was good. Chin, I don't know so much about. But it says here, Chin, a right-wing YouTuber and social media personality, and her husband have not commented publicly. The company's social media accounts were still posting content just before the indictment was unsealed. Sources tell the Post-Millennial that Tenet Media staff have been kept entirely in the dark since the indictment's announcement, with founders not communicating at all with any employees or contributors. On Thursday evening, Donovan wrote a message to staff announcing that Tenet Media was over. So this is the latest. As most of you may know now, there is a federal investigation surrounding Tenet at the moment. There have been no indictments against us or the company. We have hired legal counsel and are working through the legal issues. We hope to provide more clarity soon. However, it is clear that given the nature of the investigation, We have no choice but to stop all work on Tenet. I do not foresee it coming back. So that's crazy. And then what is this? This is a post by Tenet Media on X that was deleted within a few seconds. And it says, fired employees here access still. There is evidence we were actually funded by Russia, and it's a disgrace. We are traitors to America. What? You guys see that? That's a post, I guess, posted on Tenet Media. What does that even mean? So that's weird. That is very strange. I mean, you guys can tell me what that means. I have no idea. It doesn't really seem like anything normal. But yeah, Lauren Chin, her YouTube has been shut down. This is her link tree right here. And if you click on her YouTube, it brings up this. Ironically enough, the same page that it'll bring up if you try to click on a Firebrand Media channel link. Yes. So I guess if you're Russian disinformation or Russian propaganda, or if you're just a regular American with, wrong think in America, it'll do the same. You have the same stuff happen to you on YouTube. But you guys know I used to run a channel with another guy, Firebrand Media. We had we grew to, I think it was like almost 70,000 subscribers. And one day, YouTube just took it down, just canceled it, just like that. I don't know. Let's see. Let me go to her Twitter. Let's see if there's anything new on her Twitter. So, nothing new on her Twitter. The last thing she posted looks like was on September the 3rd. What about her Instagram? Let's look at her Instagram really quick. Yeah, same. Doesn't look like anything new on her Instagram, but that's what's going on, guys. That is the founder of Tenet Media. And Tenet on YouTube has been taken down as well. It's kind of funny because I was wondering if maybe since it was taken down, the YouTube handle for Tenet Media may be available. And I actually, on one of my other accounts, I tried to get that YouTube handle. I think it was Watch Tenet or something like that. But it didn't let me. So I was like, man, that'd be kind of cool. Because they had like, 500,000 subscribers, something like that. Close, maybe. I would have used that, created an alternative YouTube channel, maybe. A backup YouTube channel. But moving on, guys. We talked about this a little bit yesterday. Well, I made a video about this, but this is, to anyone who hasn't seen this yet, this is absolutely insane. A top Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office spokesperson blasted DA Bragg over Trump prosecution in a secret recording. Says this case is nonsense. A top Department of Justice spokesperson in New York was caught on a hidden camera ripping Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg for his recent prosecution of President Trump, accusing Trump of conducting lawfare. This guy is Nicholas Biasi, chief spokesperson for the Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office. So the Southern District of New York. SDNY, yes, very prominent court. One of the most corrupt as well, believe it or not. Was secretly recorded tearing into the progressive prosecutor during a recent conversation with a so-called undercover operative. Why do they use so-called? Come on. So-called? This is the New York Post. They're calling this undercover operative so-called. No, he was, or she was. I think it was a she. Undercover operative from conservative podcaster Steven Crowder's Mug Club. This is what he said. And if you guys want to watch the entire video, I actually have it on my YouTube. I thought it was important, so I made a video on it as well. Pretty much the entire thing is there. And I think this should be something that is shared all over the place as much as possible because it shows just how sick these individuals are. They say one thing in public, one thing in private. I mean, I think a lot of people, to a certain degree do that, but this is like total corruption. This is complete corruption. what they're doing here. They are literally trying to potentially imprison someone that is running for president who is the candidate for the Republican Party. And in public, they are saying that, oh yeah, he did all these bad things. Like, this is very serious. He's a criminal. He is a, convicted felon. But in private, they're like, this is a joke. They're laughing about this stuff. They're just laughing that they had the power to do it. It's sick stuff, guys. This whole thing puts just our society in jeopardy. Like, I mean, this is not World War. This is Civil War type of stuff. You dabble in stuff like that. That's like Civil War actions. Like, no lie. A whole country, half the country wants to elect Donald Trump as president. And you have this small faction of people in New York City who are trying to label him as a convicted felon, who are trumping up charges against him, who are charging him with stuff that is past the statute of limitations, put a rogue, corrupt judge on his trial to oversee his trial, whose daughter runs authentic campaigns that raises money for Democrats, some of the most weaponized Democrats against Donald Trump, like Adam Schiff. You do that, and you try to make it look legitimate in public, but in private, you just laugh. You just think it's funny because you had the power to do it. Sick stuff. But this is what he said. So he was talking to this woman. He said, honestly, I think the case is nonsense. He was filmed saying it to this unidentified woman on January the 31st at what appears to be a bar. Here's some screenshots. But Blasio, who said he'd known Bragg for 15 years and previously worked with him at the Southern District of New York, described the unprecedented hush money case against Trump as a perversion of justice in the footage. And he said that potentially one of the reasons why Bragg went along with it and did it is because possibly Bragg wants to make a name for himself or run for higher office. He said he wants to be something, a mayor perhaps. I'm not sure what he wants to be, but I know he's not happy just being the DA of New York County. Then he says, before he decided to prosecute Trump, did you know who he was? You do now. But if you guys want to watch more on that, go check it out. I have it. I posted a video of it yesterday. It's pretty incredible. But this was the statement that Nicholas Blasio made after this video came out. He goes, I was recently made aware of a video where I regretfully made some statements in a private and social setting that don't reflect my views about 2 local and state prosecutions. Oh, really? Okay, guys. I mean, really, guys. I mean, I can see how someone's speech in public versus private might all vary a little bit, but these are like 2 opposing things. In public, he will say only good things about this case. Only good things. In private, he's a lot more nuanced and he criticizes it. There's no way he actually did this simply to impress a woman. Like he said here, he said, I said these things in an effort to please and impress someone I just met who was secretly filming me. Listen, guys, I can see someone embellishing a little bit. I can see someone, doing a little bit of embellishment to impress someone, but I just, does this happen? Is someone going to completely take the opposing, the opposite of what they say they believe to impress somebody? I mean, you can still impress somebody and not say that all of these cases are trash, are politically motivated. You can still impress someone and not do that. So I just don't believe this. It doesn't pass a smell check at all. But then again, I'm biased because I think all of these people in public office are liars. Why? Because I think we see proof every day. But he says, I'm deeply sorry to the local and state law enforcement officials working on these matters who deserve more respect than I show them. I should have known better. So that was his statement for whatever it's worth. But moving on, guys, to Chuck Schumer. Old Chucky Schumer. Yes. He wants to give citizenship to all illegal immigrants. Yes. 11 plus million illegal immigrants. It's probably closer to 20 million. I don't know. But this is what he said.
The only way we're going to have a great future in America is if we welcome and embrace immigrants, the dreamers and all of them, because our ultimate goal is to help the dreamers, but get a path to citizenship for all 11 million or however many undocumented there are here. The only
he said it. Undocumented. So he's not just talking about, just people who have come in legally, or maybe their family members or whatever. No, he's talking about legitimately illegal aliens. So that's pretty concerning that we have leaders that are trying to do that, and we know why they're trying to do that. They're trying to grow their power in the United States by diluting your vote. Diluting your vote, yes. American citizens, their votes. So basically, your vote will be worth, 0.75% of what it used to be worth, because millions upon millions of illegal aliens simply walked across the border. Not right. It's not right, but moving on, Trump announces that he will create a government efficiency commission task force run by Elon Musk. Listen.
Fourth, at the suggestion of Elon Musk, who has given me his complete and total endorsement. That's nice. He's a smart guy. He knows what he's doing. It's very, very much appreciated. I will create a government efficiency commission tasked with conducting a complete financial and performance audit of the entire federal government and making recommendations for drastic reforms. We need to do it. Can't go on the way we are now. And Elon, because he's not very busy, has agreed to head that task force. Be interesting. If he has the time, that'd be a good one to do it.
Yeah, that's a good point. If he has the time, the guy, he just goes and goes and goes. And I remember he used to post pictures on Twitter. He would sleep in his office over at SpaceX. I don't know how this guy has the time to do what he does. But the mainstream media were not happy at all about what Donald Trump said. I mean, they absolutely threw a hissy fit. They went insane over this idea that Elon Musk might potentially serve in Trump's administration. And then they accuse Elon Musk of manipulating X to influence the election. Listen.
Foreign interference in American elections, something we've all been on the lookout for since 2016. But there's also a really disturbing information environment in America right now, domestically in this campaign year. That has nothing to do with illegal foreign interference. In fact, it's American as apple pie, a long tradition of extremely rich, real right-wing cranks, from Henry Ford to H.L. Hunt. The world's richest man, Elon Musk, is trying to control American politics. He talks to Donald Trump several times a month, according to reporting in the Wall Street Journal. Trump has expressed interest in offering Musk a role auditing government agencies in his second administration, according to the Washington Post, an idea Musk enthusiastically embraced just yesterday. Because Elon Musk runs one of the most influential internet platforms, or at least it used to be, formerly known as Twitter, and he has essentially turned that platform into a pro-Trump, pro-authoritarian disinformation machine.
He
just posts vile bigotry and disinformation that millions of people see and share.
We don't believe you. Okay, MSNBC, just because you attach all these, foul bigotry, so misinformation, it's like they're like scrambling to try to gain the attention and trust back and the belief back of the American people. Look at all this. It's like they will attach any type of word that they can to this kind of stuff to try to desperately. It's sad, actually. It's really sad. The way they talk and they stare into the camera and they talk very serious, like, oh yeah, he's very serious disinformation and hateful speech and bigotry. It's like, this is MSNBC. You're with MSNBC. We can't trust a thing you say, MSNBC. Like, yeah, good luck with that.
Despite his site's own policy that you may not share synthetic, manipulated, or out of context media that may deceive or confuse people, Musk does that basically all day long. On Monday, he posted this like weird and pretty schlocky AI generated image of what is supposed to be Vice President Kamala Harris.
Yeah, everyone knows that's a joke, obviously. This is something that Elon Musk posted. Kamala vows to be a communist dictator on day one. Can you believe she wears that outfit? It's a joke. It's supposed to be funny, and they're trying to treat this as he was trying to manipulate Twitter. This is when I believe it was Grok version 2 came out, when you could just type in a prompt and it'll give you a picture. And people were using it in a funny way to, put different people in funny situations. One of these some of these were Donald Trump and Kamala Harris like holding hands, being all loving to each other. And some of these were this right here, where Kamala Harris is wearing communist red clothes and the hammer and sickle on her hat and whatnot. Everyone knows it's a joke. Everyone knows it came from Grok, but he doesn't add that context. It's serious. He was seriously trying to manipulate all of X to think that Kamala Harris somehow put on this, this communist clothes and is standing in some sort of theater. I don't know what he's even trying to say.
Harris, but doesn't really look like her in a Soviet-looking uniform, commenting, Kamala vows to be a communist dictator on day one. Can you believe she wears that outfit? In point of fact, I can't, because she doesn't, and it's AI. That post alone was viewed more than 81 million times, at least according.
Yeah, way, way, way more than MSNBC will ever be viewed. What, are you jealous?
To Twitter's metrics, which, who knows if you can trust them. Then there's this from just yesterday. Musk boosted an hours-long interview between Tucker Carlson, remember that guy, and a Nazi apologist.
Okay, it was a great interview, by the way. And no, he was not a Nazi apologist. This is an absolute, complete, and utter lie and sham by MSNBC. This is lies. They use these words like Nazi, some other ones, anti-Semite. They use that one a lot to just discredit someone off the bat. There was nothing Nazi apologist about the guy on Tucker. I listened to that whole podcast, and it was very good.
Writing, very interesting, worth watching. In that interview, the Nazi apologist says how the Nazis weren't prepared for all the detainees they had, and people just died in the camps. Yeah. Later, Musk deleted the post, but not before at least 8 million people saw it. So if you go onto Twitter, you likely saw it yourself, because since he took over, the algorithm has been tweaked to make sure every post by Elon Musk is seen by everyone.
No, that's what he's saying there. It's something that he believes to be true. He doesn't know that to be true. He thinks that's true. But it's just all crazy stuff, guys. These media companies, they lie. They're trying to make you think a certain way, immediately discredit a person. They don't have to be nuanced. They don't have to explain. They just want like 1 or 2 words to trigger you to automatically distrust a person, like Nazi, anti-Semite, or, hateful, or, you've heard white nationalists. They want to use those words to automatically label people, so they don't have to work hard and do all the hard work to get you to maybe believe one way or another. That's the normal way of doing things. Oh, you don't agree with this person? Well, maybe engage in a discussion, a conversation. If someone believes that he is, acting in good faith, having a good conversation, makes a good point, maybe make a point of your own and convince the people that he is wrong. Just a label should never be enough for someone just to accept that someone is doing something wrong or is somehow hateful or acting in bad faith. Not just a label, especially coming from media companies. That's sick stuff. But I digress. This resurfaced video of Kamala Harris, Elon Musk retweeted this. Probably Russian disinformation, right? But he says, Kamala wants to destroy your right to free speech under the Constitution. This is the video where she vows to hold social media platforms responsible for misinformation as part of the fight against threats to democracy. Listen.
And will put the Department of Justice of the United States back in the business of justice. We will double the Civil Rights Division and direct law enforcement to counter this extremism. We will hold social media platforms accountable for the hate infiltrating their platforms because they have a responsibility to help fight against this threat to our democracy. And if you profit off of hate, if you act as a megaphone.
What is hate? Ask yourself, like, oh, that sounds good. It sounds really good to the people with low IQ. Yeah, it sounds, no one should be hateful. But what does that even mean? What does hate speech even mean? Like, a lot of people don't realize, like, these things have to be defined, right? Because when you start making laws by the government come with violence and force attached. Like, you can say someone shouldn't be saying hateful things, and that's okay to say it. That's okay to tell people or shame somebody. That's fine. But when it comes to government being involved, that's when there's force involved. That's when there's fines levied. That's when people can go to jail, can go to prison for doing these things. I don't think a lot of this really clicks in the mind of the left when they think this. They just think, oh, that sounds bad. Therefore, I'm okay with a law being made about it. But they don't ever think beyond that. But wait, this comes at the barrel of the gun. This comes with the gun. The government essentially pointing a gun at you, saying that you must do this. You must do this, or else consequences, or else this. But
for misinformation or cyber warfare, if you don't police your platforms, we are going to hold you accountable as a community. And
that alone should scare people. That alone should scare people. Now, I'm not for people saying mean things online. I'm not for people lying online. I'm not for people spreading misinformation online. But you know what else I'm definitely not for? Government policing speech. Bad. Power corrupts. Power corrupts absolutely. I mean, it's a cliche, an idiom for a reason, because it's true. Never give the government a foothold into those things. And we've already gone too far, I believe. Way too far. We're allowing the government to pressure social media companies. That was upheld by the Supreme Court. I think that's way too far. I don't think the government should pressure social media companies to do anything. I think that should be against the law. But moving on, speaking of lying, Joe Biden admits that the Inflation Reduction Act was not about inflation at all. It was about climate change. Listen.
My investments, through my investments, the most significant climate change law ever, and by the way, it is a $369 billion bill. It's called we should have named it what it was, but at any rate, my
you hear that?
Investments, through my investments, the most significant climate change.
The most significant climate change law ever, but it was named the Inflation Reduction Act. And he even says...
Change law ever. And by the way, it is a 369... we should have named it what it was.
We should have named it what it was. So, they named these bills strategically. They have nothing to do with what they actually do. In fact, the Inflation Reduction Act did the opposite of reduce inflation. And I believe it was it Kamala Harris who cast the tie-breaking vote on that act? I think it was. But look at our inflation now. It's way up. So, didn't work. Didn't work, Joe Biden. But moving on, federal investigators seized phones from New York City police boss and 4 mayoral deputies. Federal investigators this week seized the phones from these individuals. FBI seized the devices Wednesday from the homes of several high-ranking city officials, said 2 people who spoke on condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to discuss the ongoing investigation. The officials include First Deputy Mayor Sheena Wright, Philip Banks, the Deputy Mayor for Public Safety, his brother David Banks, the city school chancellor, and Timothy Pearson, a mayoral advisor, and former high-ranking New York Police Department official. Federal investigators also seized devices from the home of Police Commissioner Edward Caban. The searches add to a flurry of investigative activity around Adams' administration, his campaign, and the first-term Democrat himself. He previously received subpoenas and had his electronics seized in federal inquiries. Federal authorities haven't accused him or any of his officials of any crimes, and Adams has denied any wrongdoing. It must be hard being a politician in New York. It's got to be hard to be a politician in New York. I'm not saying that Adams is not corrupt. I'm just saying that I feel like it doesn't matter what you do. If you have like the wrong idea or you have the wrong thought, as a politician in New York, you're going to have like investigations and you're going to be indicted or whatever. Like, could you imagine? Imagine just like this mayor. I don't know. I'm not saying this is him, but imagine just a mayor that just wants to do the best for the city and you do everything right. And the FBI or the Southern District of New York or someone, the police decide they don't like you for whatever reason. And then all of a sudden they just launch investigations because this is New York City. This is what's going on with Donald Trump, right? These trumped up charges that mean absolutely nothing. They're incredible. I mean, and the intricacy is pretty amazing. They have judges all the way down to the judges. And, the whole Southern District of New York. I mean, they can manipulate them. Of course, Judge Juan Merchan, I think, is like the perfect example of this. He always rules one way. I mean, observing that trial against Donald Trump, that was one of the most eye-opening things I've ever seen. Most people don't get into the nitty-gritty of these trials, but when you do, it leaves a lasting effect. But Eric Adams, don't know what's going on with him, but I'm sure we'll find out soon. He must have said something wrong. Must have pissed off the wrong person, probably. But moving on, Samsung's AI assistant Bixby also has the Kamala Harris glitch. Listen.
Why should I vote for Donald Trump?
I didn't understand that.
Why should I vote for Donald Trump?
I didn't understand that.
Why should I vote for Kamala Harris?
Here's what I found online.
So not as pronounced as the Amazon Alexa one, but the why should I vote for Donald Trump? Oh, I don't understand. But when you ask about Kamala Harris, they serve up some articles. So Samsung Bixby. I tried it on my iPhone, Siri, and Siri just serves up articles for both. So if you are a patriot, buy an iPhone. I'm just kidding. I don't know. Buy the what is that one phone that what's his name? He was on the Sean Ryan show. I can't even remember the phone, but there's this phone that does not give out your device information to advertisers and whatnot. He was that former he was the founder of BlackRock. Can't remember the name, but buy that phone if you're a patriot. I need to get one of those phones. You need to check it out. I have Verizon. They charge me way too much money for my phone. It's like I have one phone one plan, and they're charging me like $105 a month. I'm like, I'm getting screwed. But the problem is, now I'm going off on a rant. The problem is that, you buy a device and you do the payments, right? And then you can't get rid of the device without, paying it off the device. So you're locked into this plan for years, unless you want to just pay off the device, which I guess I could, but shelling out hundreds of dollars to Verizon doesn't appeal to me. Maybe I'll just do it. I should just do it. I need to switch to like Patriot Mobile, something like that. That's what I need to do. Maybe I'll get them as a sponsor and switch to Patriot Mobile. Good idea. Thanks for telling me, guys. Moving on, though, Mark Cuban says that Kamala Harris is saying one thing in public and one thing behind closed doors. Guys, you're going to have to kind of like listen to this one, because it goes from this guy to Mark Cuban to the woman to Mark Cuban. Now, when I say this is what he says, this is essentially what he is saying. He doesn't want to say it, and he says that's not what he's saying, but it's how any reasonable person would interpret it. Okay, so let me know what you guys think of this. Let me know if you think my interpretation was correct, and let me know if you think their interpretation is correct, because this is CNBC. That they're not a right-wing media company at all, and that's kind of how they interpreted it as well. But listen,
on this unrealized tax issue, gain issue, and where we've talked about, those who are taking loans against their unrealized stock, et cetera, et cetera. And then they say, well, if you start to tax that, we won't be able to make investments in startups. We won't be able to give money over to venture capitalists and private equity folks and other things like that. What's your feedback to that distinction? Because I wonder, once there's a critique of one, then, of one policy, and you get rid of that policy, then of course it moves to the critique of the next version of it.
Well, of course, but okay. So what I told him was, if you tax unrealized gains, you're going to kill the stock market, right? And it's going to be the ultimate employment plan for private equity, because companies are not going to go public because you can get whipsawed, right? I mean, my own personal experience back from the internet days, right? All of a sudden, I was cash poor, but equity rich, right? My net worth was enormous, but the number of dollars in the bank wasn't enormous. And so I'd have, based off of the unrealized gains, I would have had to borrow money, and I effectively would have been in hock just to pay my tax bill instead of trying to run my company, and 1,000 other reasons, right? So they realize that's the issue. I can't repeat it enough. Even though she's not directly conflicting the Biden tax plan, to her value proposition is we need to tax everybody fairly. I'm starting from the Biden plan as a starting point, but that's not necessarily her ending
Mark,
point.
let me just say, I appreciate you calling in, telling us what you're hearing on these fronts. That's great. But as you've said yourself, you can't speak for the vice president. These are things they're telling you. Who knows what they're telling other people? My guess is they're telling anybody who's donating to them exactly what they want to hear at this point. What matters is what they say publicly and what they will stick to.
No, absolutely, positively not. Right.
No.
Like, why do you think that they're telling you the truth and not telling other people other things?
Well, I don't,
if they won't say it publicly, say it publicly. Tell all of us so that we can hold you to it.
I get it, but you've got to get the details right. You can't just...
Yeah, but we have 60 days till an election. Like, you're asking people to take a flyer.
Even if it's the day before the election, right? Even if it's the day before. Look, the next question is, the second thing I was going to mention earlier.
I just don't want everybody to trade on what we think and what we feel and what we think may happen.
Exactly.
Just tell us.
I get your point exactly, right?
So you see what he's trying to do here. He's trying to tell all these people who are seeing this radical policy proposal, from Kamala Harris. He's trying to tell them, like, listen, it's okay. Just relax. She's not really going to do that. She's simply lying to all of America, including you. But you need to just trust me. Like, in what world? Like, these people are absolutely sick, guys. Like, you see, I mean, talk about an elitist mindset. Wasn't it the left that was all against the 1%, all against the 1% running the country and, making all the decisions? And But now you have this elitist mindset where it's somehow now okay for Kamala Harris to come out into the wider public, the low level, lay people like you and me, the normal person who goes to work every single day, who, if I'm a leftist or an ideologue, I might, have something against these, billionaires and millionaires. And I might want to see them punished. So I see these things like taxes on unrealized capital gains. I'm like, heck yeah, I'm all for that because Kamala Harris is saying it. And then you have the people that are actually, business owners are like, wait a second, this is crazy. This is going to cause crazy disruptions in the stock market and business. But here, Mark Cuban, a billionaire himself, is saying, don't worry, guys. Kamala Harris is just lying to everybody. Don't worry. Trust me instead. What? I mean, that's what he's saying. And then when he's like confronted about that, he's like, no. Do you see how many times he said no? It was like 16 times he says no. Why? Because he doesn't want to be framed that way. But that is exactly what he's saying. There's no other way you could interpret that. I mean, he's trying to say there's other nuance that you got to consider, but no, that's what you're saying. There's no other way you can really interpret it. You're telling business owners and rich people to trust you instead of what Kamala Harris actually says and just support her just to simply push her over the finish line. Don't worry. None of this stuff is going to come to fruition. So that is their mindset. What an elitist, disgusting, sick mindset, right? That's just so crazy. But moving on, Hunter Biden is expected to plead guilty to federal tax charges. Biden's defense attorney made this announcement in a Los Angeles courtroom on Thursday as 120 jurors waited nearby to be selected for his trial. President Joe Biden's son is being accused of participating in a 4-year plot to avoid paying about $1.4 million in taxes while scoring millions from foreign business organizations. Lowell cited legal cases and precedents suggesting that by pleading guilty, the judge would have to decide on the facts of the case rather than a jury. Wow, that's interesting. So by pleading guilty, it's the judge that has to decide on the facts of the case. So I wonder who this judge is. Who is this judge? He's probably Judge Juan Merchan with the disguise on. He's Judge Juan Merchan with the fake mustache or those glasses, with the mustache and nose. That's who it is. That's who this judge is. So that's something that's coming up, guys. I'm kind of bored by the Hunter Biden stuff. I mean, I think he's a scumbag, but he kind of bores me. Last one we're going to talk about, guys. Mike Johnson faces Republican pushback with new proposal. This has to do with the SAVE Act that is supposed to require a bill that's supposed to require every single voter to present ID before they vote, which how is that not a thing already? I think in some states it's required because I believe in Wisconsin it's required, but some states don't require it. And Republicans are wanting to attach this SAVE Act, which does this, to the upcoming spending bill, the continuing resolution bill, in order to try to get it pushed through. But you have a lot of these conservative Republicans that are they're kind of backing down on this. Like Thomas Massey. What? Our Republicans are spineless. They need to be shamed. Our Republicans are spineless, just terrible. Come on, grow a pair, okay? Just push it through, get everyone on board, push it through, don't look back. It's crazy. Mike Johnson faces Republican pushback over a proposal that could shut down the government over a bill calling for strict proof of citizenship requirements in voter registration. Johnson indicated during a private call with GOP lawmakers on Wednesday that he would be attaching the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act, the SAVE Act, a Republican voter identification bill, to short-term government spending legislation before a potential government shutdown on October the 1st. Guys, it's important. Call your congressmen, call your senators, your representatives, call them, say, nay, demand they pass the SAVE Act. I don't care if you have a Republican or Democrat. Doesn't matter. Call them. Email them. Go to their offices. Some Republicans on the call reportedly expressed concern that a shutdown caused by the SAVE Act, prompting the Democrat-controlled Senate to reject the continuing resolution, or CR, would be a political liability. So what? This is important. This is very important. Do you know how many illegal immigrants are in the United States? Conservative numbers, 11 million. Liberal numbers, 20 plus million. So let's just say, I don't know, split the difference, 15 million. How many votes were some of these states decided on last election? Some were less than like 100,000 votes or 200,000 votes. That's enough people to sway an election. And if you don't have voter ID requirements, what's even the point? Come on. At least 2 Republicans who are not in electoral danger have publicly spoken out against the proposal. Thomas Massey, who was running for re-election in a deep red district, like, I wish he would say, like, why? Why is he coming out against this? This is crazy. And Congressman Matt Rosendale, who is not running for re-election, but have both opposed attaching the bill. Why are they coming out against this? I want answers. I've done a little research. I can't really. Everything is kind of vague words from these people. Rosendale called Johnson's plan an example of disingenuous and dishonest messaging that would neither increase the SAVE Act's chances of passage nor reduce our deficit. What does that even mean? All this is a messaging technique and tactic. I won't participate in that. It's wrong in trying to get it attached because we know it's not going to get passed. The SAVE Act and the CR will never get passed together. So, guys, shut it down. Shut it down. Shut the government down. This is important. Why do we not have a federal law that requires you, if you want to vote, you show your driver's license, show some sort of ID, something? But no, why are the Democrats pushing back against it so hard? You know the answer to that. But ladies and gentlemen, how are you guys doing? What is going on with you guys? Hey, we got a new member, Josie. Welcome, Josie, to the membership. Remember, join our private chat, our super secret, ultra secret private chat. The link is on my YouTube page. Go under, what is it? Community, I believe. Yes, community. I have a members only post to the Discord private chat. So go check that out. But let me see here. Let me go to the live chat here. What are you guys doing? Welcome. Welcome. Hey, we got Mama Bear in the chat. How's it going, Mama Bear? Thank you for watching. We got Southern Sass. Yeah, she's in the chat. Shoemaker in the chat, modding. Thank you. Coming over here from LV Nation. We got Michelle C. also in the chat. Throwing up those My Pillow links. Yes, guys, go to mypillow.com/unwoke or call 800-818-8068. That is my unwoke promo code phone number. Buy some stuff, guys, because it's coming up. Christmas is coming up. There's a lot of good stuff. Oh, by the way, there is I have a Mike Lindell. When I talked to him, this is 2 days ago, he gave me a promo code for his My Store too. I don't know if you guys saw this. Check this out. So this is another. It's a I guess is another My Pillow type store, online store. It's called My Store. So I have a promo code for this too. They have all sorts of stuff here. It's like an Amazon, but for like USA products. So use My Pillow or my promo code unwoke in My Store too. We got Bill Phillips in the chat. How's it going, Bill? Glad you rejoined. Yeah, he's his membership ran out and then he rejoined. Loyalty. Thank you. We got Betsy Paints in the chat. Let's see. Scoop says, start the video over. TJ is late. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Unwoke Thought. I'm just kidding. Big show. We got a big show. TJ is late, so we're starting over right now. No, I'm just kidding. What else? What do we got? Find a couple more chat. We got Resto Guy from, Southern Wisconsin, right? He's in the chat. We got Anthony Labunsky in the chat. How's it going? Did you guys think that Bill de Blasio video was as crazy as I thought it was? Like, really? That legitimately blew my mind. It came across my newsfeed and I was like, what is this even? What is this Bill de Blasio? He's so crazy. What a weirdo, right? I mean, what is that? The dude throws sweetened coconut on his pizza? Oh, Resto Guy says he's from northern Wisconsin. Okay. Coconut on pizza. Then he eats it crust first. What is he even doing? Is that like... I thought that got you the death penalty in New York. That's like a... Isn't that like a hate crime in New York? I don't know. But it did really remind me of that one press conference he made with the burger. He's just a weird guy. Guys, imagine if this is what he does in public, imagine what he does in private. No, actually don't. Sorry. Don't imagine that. No, don't do it. Oh, man. So crazy. Yeah, but lots of indictments coming out, guys. I mean, investigations, Eric Adams, Tenet Media, lots of crazy stuff going on right now. And I can see it. It's going to just intensify over time as it comes close to the election. And I'm wondering what the October surprise is going to be. Is there even going to be one? Jeremy Byers, he's watching. Hey, thanks, Jeremy. Thanks for watching. Pete says, I've already bought a lot of My Pillow stuff and been even gifted a lot of it. It's good stuff, but I prefer my favorite coffee. Yeah, the coffee. This stuff right here, drink it every day. I do pour the coffee into a regular coffee can, though, because it's easier to scoop out of. So this is almost empty. I got it what was it, last week, the week before last? I haven't drank that much coffee. What else we got? I might be streaming some more Trump stuff later today. Trump, I believe, is doing a couple appearances, maybe a rally, so stay tuned for that. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging out with me this morning. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. Before we get off the stream, if you could please leave a like on the video and subscribe. Everyone, if you're watching right now, go to the bell icon and click the bell where it says notifications all. I'm trying to get those notifications. It gives me stats on my YouTube studio, and I think it says 23% of my followers have notifications on all. So if you could do that, that'd be awesome. I want to see how high I can get that statistic. But if you'd like to support the show, consider becoming a member. Or I also have a donation link down below for Cash App. But thank you, everyone. Hope you have a fantastic day. We'll see you tomorrow morning on the next one, 9 a.m. God bless.